Hey guys, what's happening? It's Meshi with Meshi TV. Thank you so much for coming by for today's video. Today we're going to be doing your standard pickup card reading, not pickup card, a pickup card reading. And we're going to be actually focusing on your relationships, what you need to know this specific week for your relationships. What's happening? How can you move through all of these obstacles in a way that it actually creates resolution and it allows you to do a little bit of healing. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. As you can tell, I have 3 decks in front of me. Don't worry, I will be showing you guys close-ups of everything so you can take a look. Let's first take a look at each of your crystals. So take a moment, get grounded. If this is the first time that we're meeting, well, first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for coming by. I'm so glad that you are here. My name is Meshi and I'm an intuitive reader and a healer, and I do general oracle readings. Soon we're going to be moving into doing specific readings based on your different elements. So the air signs, water signs, fire signs, earth signs, all of that. So that's going to be coming up moving into November. But for now, we have general oracle readings designed for all signs. Some of the messages may resonate, some of them may not. Take it or leave it. As always use your discernment. These are definitely designed so that you take them and use them as guidance, because that's all they are. Okay, let's take a look at group number 1. Here is your beautiful tourmaline piece. Group number 2, you have this aura cluster piece. Stunning. And last but not least, you have raw clear quartz crystal. Take a moment, take a deep breath, get grounded, and let's get started. Okay, group number 1, if you have picked tourmaline, I feel like right off the gate you either need to create some protective barriers, you need to create some boundaries. Boundaries are going to be like the theme of the game. It's going to be the thing that's going to be guiding you right now, because I think that either you're tapping into a lower frequency or people around you are highly negative, or they're just vibrating at a different level than you. And I think it's really affecting you. So creating some sacred boundaries, perhaps doing some protective work, working with your crystals is going to be very, 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 very beneficial for you. We have ghost, we have regret. What are you regretting? What's going on with you? What are you regretting? I feel like you're looking back on the past of how you were in relationships. Perhaps you're in a relationship right now, or you're trying to manifest a relationship, one or the other. But what I'm feeling from you is you're sitting there wallowing in the past of all of the mistakes that you have made. Not on the, like, I'm not getting that you're like, I feel like you just want to kind of go back in the good old days and kind of redo some of your mistakes. Like, it's almost like you don't want to own up to the fact that perhaps you made mistakes, or that perhaps the person that you were was not at, your level of consciousness was not where it is today. And I think that that's very, 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 very important to understand, because the thing is that if you're constantly looking back from today's mindset into the past, and you're constantly asking yourself why I made those mistakes, without actually learning from those mistakes, then you're bound to kind of constantly create that same pattern, right? So I think that, and apparently like it's haunting you. Like, this is so deeply rooted for some of you guys that you're constantly thinking about it, and it's not so much because you want that relationship back, but you just feel like it would have turned out differently. You know what I mean? But the thing is that when you realize that it wouldn't have turned out differently, because the thing is that if you guys are not resonating at the time that you're meeting with this person, if you guys are not resonating at the same level, sometimes people just come into your life to actually teach you that lesson so that they can move on. That's it. Sometimes that's their job within your journey. And honoring that and letting them go is sort of part of that process, part of your own evolution, really. I guess, like, this is getting you stuck because you're not letting anything new coming through. Okay, let's see what else is coming up for you. This is so timely. I can't even. Okay, so quick disclaimer. At the very end, I will actually just tell you guys the channel messages that I just channeled today, actually. And here we have accelerated motion. And I mean, this was actually one of the messages that came through. I've done sort of a mini prediction messages that came through from Spirit. I posted that on Instagram, actually. One of the actual full-on channel messages. And one of them was exactly this. And I mean, I felt this viscerally. So the accelerated motion is all about really picking up momentum. And I mean, that's literally the theme of this week, the theme of the remainder of October. It's going to be so much for you to really, you're going to be picking up a lot of momentum in whatever you're attaching to energetically. So just be very careful of what you're attaching to. And then there's also your solar plexus, your gut feelings, your intuition, that guidance. I think that, well, a couple of things before we really hop to the resolution here. Regret, it's like that gut feeling, right? And solar plexus, it's also like that, your will, the way that you relate to money. It's going to be, your solar plexus is going to be also your feminine, right? So that feminine energy, and going with your intuition, seeing like what is your gut telling you, it's going to be very beneficial for you. But I think that can happen, that healing process can happen if, again, tourmaline, create those barriers, create those boundaries for yourself, because I think that if you do, that will help you in the process of actually creating some forward movement. And use your intuition. What is it telling you? What is it asking you to do? I'm telling you that I think that you need to really release whatever's in the past, or you already need to release that. You need to release it when you feel ready. I can't tell you when that is. You need to feel that intuitively. And I think that that's why the solar plexus is here. The end of a tough cycle approaches. So I feel like some of you have been really struggling with this. I feel like, which is, again, the whole tourmaline thing, that's why it's coming up like loud and clear, because I think that you are going through like this really rough chapter of your life right now, where you're asked to not only look back on like what is the cycle that you're completing, but then also what is the lessons and all of that, and how can you really move forward with the lessons learned. So like, take the lesson and release the rest, right? It's sort of like you eat the cherry and you spit out the pit, right? Let's see what the tarot has for us. So we have the Lovers in reverse, the Tower in reverse, everything's in reverse. We have the Two of Inspiration in reverse, and we have the Emperor. Let me just turn them over, because generally these don't really come reversed anyway, and it won't really make much of a difference, to be honest. I do feel like, again, they're kind of lining up. With the Lovers, I just feel like you are like so longing for that deep connection, that intimacy, that deep, intimate relationship where you're being seen, heard, valued, appreciated for all that you are, for how you're showing up right now. But what I think is kind of blocking all of that is that in the midst of it, there's that Tower moment where either you have the realization or they have the realization, or like you're kind of coming to a realization, I guess. And maybe that realization is like it feels like something is falling apart. And I mean, like here with the end of a tough cycle, I feel like you are sort of, it's almost like it's haunting you. Like all of the things that happened in the past, you're letting it really like take over your psyche and haunt you. And aspects of your relationship is tumbling apart because it's not built on a strong foundation. And perhaps the relationship is falling apart, or a version of you is falling apart. I'm hoping there's going to be a version of you, especially if you're still clinging on to this past mistakes that you have. And I think that your gut is kind of telling you what that is, or how to really move through it. But here's what else is coming through. You have the Seven of Inspiration. And with the Seven of Inspiration, if you look, it's almost like when you go within, you can push through, because there is that light within that darkness. But the thing is that you can't see the light unless you kind of go within, right? And you have like the Emperor energy, which is all about being confident, being like shining, moving, creating like forward movement. It's almost like you need to kind of take the reins of this relationship, at least on aspects that you're responsible for. I think that you need to not only take responsibility, but you need to know that you have not only self-discernment, but you're responsible for your own actions. That's what it is. So you need to take ownership on your part. Use your gut feelings so that you can move forward in a healthy way. That's all I have for you, group number 1. Stay tuned until the very end, where I can give you some of the channel messages that came through that I think will actually guide you. So let's go on to group number 2. Group number 2, if you have picked this beautiful cluster piece, this reading is going to be for you. So let's see what's coming up. First and foremost, if you pick this crystal, that tells me that basically this is an amethyst cluster piece. So that means that the base is an amethyst, but the top is like an aura quartz. So and when it's a cluster, then it means that it's like really channeling energy inwards. I feel like you're very much needing to connect to your intuition. You are about to connect to your intuition. I feel like you need a lot of healing. I feel like there's a lot of healing that's happening this week. I don't know why, but there just is. Okay, your oracle, I love this. It's Barnbrook. It's kind of odd. Sweetness and synergy with lots and lots of pumpkins. It's like when you're in that season of your life, right, where you crave the sweet and the savory and all of it in between. But where can you bring sweetness into your life? I think that's, you know, like I kind of think of this as, it's like what you're longing for right now is like that comfort of Thanksgiving meal. You know what I mean? When you have like the pumpkin pie and you smell the apple cider and the cinnamon, and like when the smell of warmth and home really like just warms your heart, but it's also like the connection with everyone around you, when it feels like home. That's what you're trying to create right now, or that's what is coming through right now for this week for you. So that's a pretty sweet spot, because pumpkin pie tastes awesome. Okay, let's see what else is coming up. We have obstacles and challenges. We have wisdom, and we have the waiting game. So it's almost like what is that? Where's that gap between where you are and where you would like to go? How can you bring that synergy into your life? What is your intuition really trying to guide you to? Like, where are we like guiding you to, right? To like, how can you kind of create that sweetness in your life? How can you create that sense of home? And I think that you might feel like there's like all of these different things that are coming up that are sort of standing in your way, these roadblocks. But really it's like, okay, who can help you? Like, who are the people around you? Like, how can you tune into your own inner wisdom? And if that's not enough, who is really around you to really guide you through this? I feel like some of you really need like lots of support through this, because I feel like it feels like it's so out of reach right now for you to get that sense of harmony in your life right now, you know? And it's also about, I think that one of the biggest things for you right now is that you don't feel that balance, that comfort, that sense of home within your relationship, because you're not, it might just be a new relationship, and you haven't had a chance to really deepen those connections yet. You haven't had enough time to really have those experiences with this person yet. And like, it's very much about like, just maybe it's just like having a sense of impatience more than anything else. And if that's all that is, then like one of the biggest things that you can do is just bring awareness to it. witness it, that that's what it is, that's what's coming through, and then see what you want to do with it, because through awareness we have control, right? Confidence is key to success. It always is. What are you overthinking? I feel like it's like you want to rush something because you don't trust yourself. You're trying to like rush to the next chapter of this relationship because like there's something that you're not trusting. You're not trusting yourself. You're not trusting your partner. Something like you're being super insecure about this. And is this something from the past, or is this something right now? You're being really insecure about something because it's like you're asked to be confident. Like, can you trust yourself that what you're manifesting, what you're bringing, that energy that you're bringing in, that person that's in your life, like the way that things are unfolding, you're worthy of it all. Can you do that, right? Okay, let's see what the tarot has to say. We have the Page of Emotions. We have the Ace of Emotions. Oh my gosh, lots of emotions. We have the Strength card. And we have the Magician in reverse. So let's unpack. It's like you're inside your own little world and in the sea of emotion and not really seeing the way through yet. But I also feel like you want to come to the surface. It's like you need that breath of fresh air, right? I feel like you're longing for that. I feel like you're longing for that breath of fresh air where you come up to the surface so that you can breathe a little bit easier. I feel like that will be the gateway, because then again, I just would like to point out that you have two strength cards. So you have the Strength card, and then you also have the new moon in Leo. So you definitely have like that Leo energy, which is just all about just like harnessing your own inner power. But it's more than just like physical power. It's the Leo power is all about like this full control of all of your emotions, and you have a lot of them happening at the very moment. So I think that taking control of your own emotions and really harnessing the power that's within you, where you understand that sometimes like the thoughts that come up in your head of how you're feeling, sometimes it's literally just that. It's just a thought. You don't have to attach to all of it. You don't have to try to fix it. It's literally just, you know, sometimes like the impatience shows up. Sometimes we want to rush things, but to be honest, like there's really beauty in like running the miles, right? And the Strength card is all about that. And then you also have the Magician, and with the Magician, it's just knowing and connecting. To me, the Magician is all about like understanding your own inner power, your own inner, like this is all about manifesting for me here. And I mean, if you have, like I said, if you have picked this crystal, there's a reason why you picked it. And it's understanding that you are powerful. It's understanding that you have that inner vibration about you that is undeniable. But sometimes through our ego, we want to kind of rush things, or we want to manifest it much faster. And the thing is that in itself, it can like really ruin, like you're not letting it blossom to what it needs to, right? And then again, like that's sort of where the Wisdom cards comes in, where really use the discernment, use your own discernment. But if that's not available to you, or you're just like simply swept over by your own emotions, then use the support system all around you, people that are more experienced or people that you trust. I think that's more of it's more of a thing about finding people that you confine in, that you trust, that can kind of guide you through it, where they can kind of walk you off the edge and walk you away from like that ledge and tipping things over. And really, this is absolutely available to you, but you have to like not rush it. You know, I think that, and I mean, it's going to be hard. I know, because right now October is all about speed, and you're like love speed right now. So, because there's a little bit of a disconnect, I think that you're going to have to find a way to inner and outer synergy. Like, can you kind of bring that into this beautiful rhythm where you're not rushing things, right? This is all I have for you. Stay tuned until the very end, because I would love to share with you the channel messages that came through. Stay tuned until the end, because I will be actually not pulling extra cards, but I will be sharing with you some of the channel messages that came through today for the remainder of October. So let's go. Okay, group number 3, I see you, boo. Your crystal is a raw quartz. Now with raw quartz, well, first of all, what can I tell you about raw quartz? I can tell you that it's raw energy. It's not polished. It hasn't been manipulated. It is just the way it is. Can we show up as just the way we are? Can we be accepted? Can we be okay with just the way that we are? Are we okay with just the way that we are? Can we just do that? I don't know. Okay, what is coming up for you for this week in your relationships? We have the skull of light, which is all about illumination. Where do you need to shine your light? Where do you need to shine your light within you that you're not willing to look at? Okay, I feel like for some of you, you might be going through some, I don't want to say ego death, but it feels like you're going through some changes where I feel like you're being shown in areas where you need to really bring awareness to. Some of the areas of how you're showing up, like how you're really being triggered within your relationship, within your partnerships. Perhaps with your person, you're just, maybe you're nagging too much. Like something is coming up that like you really need to shine the light onto something that you have become aware of or you will become aware of really soon. And I mean, like we're getting a lot closer to the full moon, so that kind of makes sense. Okay. Yes, well, I was kind of sensing that, but here. Bringing balance, it's like, what are you being shown? Now, what do you need to shed light onto? You need to shed light onto how to really bring balance within your partnerships, within like the way that you're showing up, but also within the ways that perhaps you're relating to each other. And then you have like nice little good old-fashioned shadow work where you're really being asked, and I mean literally, like there's at least 2 cards asking you to do the same thing, where you need to really look at aspects of your relationship, of how you're really bringing, like what is really bringing out the worst in you within this relationship, because we all have it. We all have shadow work. It's just right now, like it's becoming really evident of like this, that's something that you need to work on, whether you want to or not. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I guess the question is how badly do you want balance, right? How badly do you want to bring equilibrium and balance back into your life? Because if you do, in order for you to bring some balance back, and in order for you to kind of like tip the scale in your favor, then you really need to be willing to look at all of the ways that you might be creating an imbalance within your relationships, within your partnerships. How are you relating to them? Are you bringing that vibration down, or are you lifting it up? Are you feeling better after you have conversations with your partner, or do you feel worse? Because that will be a really good indication of like sort of having like just a quick check-in of where things are at. Yeah. And if you do this, it's a win-win. Win-win outcome is forecast. So it's like, yeah, you have your full moon in Libra, which I mean, right now we're in the midst of Libra season. I think that if you bring that balance back, like I'm getting a lot of balance, but like, I feel like you're like, especially if you pick the raw quartz, it's very rough around the edges. It's full of light, but it's really rough around the edges. So you really need to kind of you really need to tune into how you can kind of smooth things over. And Libra is all about finesse. So I think that you're gonna have to really take some time and connect with that inner feminine, connect with ways that you can really finesse the situation. You can definitely do it. It's just a matter of having the desire to want to do it. See what the tarot has for us. Okay, you have Queen of Materials in reverse. You have 8 of Voices. You have 2 of Materials also in reverse, and you have 6 of Inspiration. Let me just take a look. For you to, it's like you need to, basically in order for things to kind of come back into balance, especially when it comes to like money, finances, material things, I feel like you really need to kind of detach from that a little bit, because that's not really going to be bringing you it's not going to give you the closer connection that you're really craving with your partner. I think that if you can kind of release a little bit of that and more connect more intellectually and stop overthinking it. I feel like it's like you're just projecting so much darkness, like you're projecting so many negative things out there that it's hard to gravitate towards you. I don't know how to create that level of intimacy with you if all you're projecting is like, if you're just attacking me, or if you're projecting something negative, right? So I mean, I think that you can basically, and I mean, isn't that funny? Like with the shadow, and like you have two darkness, it's asking you to transmute it. Like that's all it's asking you to do. Okay, apparently this is the only way that we're gonna get through this, so let's just do this together. Basically with the Eight of Voices, I think that right now you just have so many of these negative thought patterns that are kind of coming through that says, you know, all of the ways of things are not working, and the more you're focused on what is not working, the more you're going to be manifesting just that for yourself. And I think that if you kind of flip that on its head and say what is working and what it is that I actually want, and how will that feel energetically if you tap into what it is that you actually desire versus what is not working, then now we're working with actually transmuting a lot of that negativity, right? Because the other thing is that like you have the ability to bring things into balance. Like you not only have the ability, but I think that you also have a way of doing it effortlessly. So like it is absolutely available to you, and I think that you want to. I mean, I think that you're just balancing way too many things. I think that you need to tip the scale in your favor. That's what I'm getting here, is you need to tip the things in your favor where you're really setting things up within your partnerships, where you're playing on, you're being okay with being vulnerable, witnessing what you're being shown right now that is out of balance, and then you have a way of bringing it back into balance, and then you have the ability to shine. Because I think ultimately with this connection that you have is real, it's genuine, but the thing is that you just want to make sure that you're not driving this person away. See, there you go. You're not driving this person away, but you're actually deepening your connection, deepening your experiences together. And that's also available to you, right? Like use all of these things that are around you in a way that you're witnessing what have you been doing. Ask yourself constructively of how can I, like, what is this showing me? Why do I feel this way? What is this person triggering in me that really wants to come and heal, right? Because once you have awareness around it, then you can actually do something about it. We're a little cranky panky. This is all I have for you guys for group number 3. It's short and sweet. Stay tuned until the end so I can finally tell you what were the channel messages that I think will help you. So we made it to the very end. I'm going to keep this relatively short and sweet because we don't have a ton of patience here. Here's what came through in a nutshell. Basically, the month of October, I think for all of you really, especially when it comes to relationships, is going to speed things up. It's going to be all about speed, it's going to be surrender to the speed of things, okay? So it's going to be like when you're sitting in this fast, like uber fast train, and you're anticipating that it's going to speed up, and you have the option to tense up, or you have the option to relax into it and allow. That's where we're going right now, okay? So if you know that, you can anticipate it, but then you can also kind of work with it in a really beautiful way. So just know that, you know, don't try to control timelines, don't try to control speed too much. Connect back to your heart, which we talked a lot about with each of the groups, really. Connect back to your heart so that you don't feel this constriction and this pain. I mean, I think that in a lot of ways, there's going to be a lot of healing that's going to be happening for most of you, especially in this case. Really rely on your partnerships, really rely on the support system that you have around you, because it's going to be key. This is all I have for you guys. Thanks so much first of all, for tuning in, and hope that you have enjoyed it. Hope it resonated. Lots to unpack, really. There was a lot that has gone on. If you have enjoyed this video, you can support the channel by giving me a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you have not yet already. And in the meanwhile, just keep seeking seekers, and I will see you guys again in my next video. Bye.